Now, a tougher approach by French authorities on the other side of the Channel may at last be having an impact on migrant boat crossings. That's according to GBNews sources.
Well, another 872 migrants arrived on Saturday. That's a new daily record for this year and taking the total to the year to over 21,000. But our contacts have revealed that the numbers compared to last year are being reduced by more robust French action disrupting the people smuggling gangs. Let's get more with our Home and Security editor, Mark White, of course, who's across this story. And Mark, you have been indicating that one of the issues for the French authorities is how the gangs were spreading further down the coast. They seem to have got on top of that situation now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit cat and mouse in terms of what's happening there. But traditionally, the boats have launched from those beaches around Dunkirk and Calais. So that's the closest point, really, to the UK. It guarantees, really, that providing you've got enough fuel in your boat, usually you'll make it to UK waters and be picked up by UK authorities. But because of the increase in French police patrols, we know controversially that there has been this £500 million deal that the UK government has agreed with France over the next 3 years, which will provide for 40% more police on the beaches. Well, there are more police out there, according to our sources. They are confronting boats, trying to get to them before they get in the water, puncturing them and slashing them. And it seems that that kind of policing activity is pushing them further and further south. Now, we've known for some time that some of the boats have gone as far south as Boulogne, which is a fair bit away, a good 30, 40 miles south of Calais. And that means, of course, when they kick off from Boulogne, then they have a much longer journey on the Channel before they reach the UK waters. But actually, they're going even further south. In recent weeks, we've had a number of boat launches from as far south as Somme, which is about 50 miles south of Boulogne. So that is a very significant voyage that these small boats are having to undergo just to try to avoid the enhanced police activity in northern France.
And the French authorities, you talk about them puncturing, slashing the boats. They can't do anything once the boats enter the water, or they won't unless there's a risk to life.
Their standing operating procedure is not to touch the boats once they get into the water, because then they just feel it would be too dangerous getting involved in a scuffle with people. Even if the water's not deep, there's still the potential for some kind of issue. So that's a standard practice. They just, once the boats make it to the water, effectively, that's it. If they can clamber on board and get offshore, then they're left to their own devices. The French naval vessels and patrol vessels will effectively shadow them, because they know they've tried in the past to persuade the migrants to get on their boat. But in doing that, that would just mean a return to France. So the only time the migrants ever agree to that is if they get into difficulties, if they can't make it to UK waters. Most of the time they stand off about half a mile away and just shadow them till they get to UK waters.
Yeah, we should flag up that your latest intelligence you're getting, you've got a piece out on our website which goes through this in some detail, and people can update themselves there. Is it the fact that we're getting an indication that the French are getting better at disrupting on the beaches, or are they getting more in terms of the gangs and what's happening behind the scenes?
I think they're getting better, and there's definitely more of them. But what it's meaning, as the article says, is that you are then seeing the people smugglers having to spread out. We're not seeing the mass launches from those beaches in Dunkirk and Calais that we've seen. They've had to spread it out right down the coast, and as a consequence of that, on the record days like we saw at the weekend, when 872 came across, a record for this year, it's nowhere near the records for last year of more than 1,200 who came across, because they're having to stretch out over a longer period of a longer stretch of beach, which is difficult for them logistically to get the boats down there, the people down there and the like.
But conditions at the moment are still very favourable, are they not? So this month we can see many more people. Not
particularly, no. It's been really, really hit and miss with the weather. We've had some good days, but even on the good days, the wind can whip it up in the middle of the Channel. It can still be quite choppy. But the key indicator for me is that even on the flat, calm days when we would say, there's bound to be more than 1,000 cross if last year was anything to go by, it's not. It's been 600 or 700 max, and then that big day just at the weekend.
Yeah.
So it does indicate that they are, facing logistical problems and having to push off from so far south.
Yeah, just 113 people on 2 boats on Sunday, according to the latest Home Office figures just released. So.
And just to add to that, our Kent producer telling us that today 4 boats have come across, about 200 odd, another boat en route.
Mark, thank you very much indeed.